Welcome to part 3 of Hacking the Tesla Safety Score. In this video, we'll be looking at unsafe following. If you haven't watched the first 2 videos in the series, please go watch those first. It's easier to manage your Tesla safety score when you understand how it all works, and the introduction provides those details along with tools which help. Part 2 covers hard braking and introduces the idea of condition windows, which will be used with unsafe following. I'll leave the links for both videos in the description below, and a card for hacking the series playlist should be available in the upper right hand corner of this video right now. As covered in the series introduction video, being able to raise your safety score is based on driving many miles with a daily grade of 100 or at least 99. But there's nothing worse than after driving many miles you find a safety event occurred at some point during the day and your 100 daily score has dropped to 90%. Instead of having all those daily miles logged at 90%, let's restore that daily grade to 99 or 100 before the day ends, so it's a positive influence on our overall grade rather than a negative. Before getting into the fun stuff, we need to understand how Tesla defines a safe and unsafe follow, so let's take a look. Tesla's definition for unsafe following is described in terms of headway, which is the time-based distance between your car and the vehicle in front of your car. Unsafe following percentage is based on a small window of conditions. In total honesty, this is something I didn't fully understand at the start, and you'll see it was only after driving 50 miles or so, trying to correct my grade without any improvements, that I stopped and reviewed the information, then things made more sense. Hopefully this saves you from that learning curve. Tesla says unsafe following is only measured when driving 50 miles an hour or greater. I've confirmed speeds below 50 miles are exempt from grading. And here's how Tesla describes unsafe following. Unsafe following is the proportion of time where your vehicle's headway is less than 1 second relative to the time that your vehicle's headway is less than 3 seconds. This basically describes the grade as being calculated as the percent of time where follow distance time is less than 1 second in relationship to the time where it is less than 3 seconds behind the car in front of you. If true, that means the safe distance is between 1 and 3 seconds behind the car in front of you. Yikes. What I hope that meant was the safe window was 3 seconds behind plus or minus a second, because that does offer a little more room to work, but that's not how Tesla defines the window. I honestly believe the definition as published is not accurate because it goes against well-documented safety standards that put the minimum distance at 3 seconds for safety. There's more details on safe following in the description with links of other sites that discuss the 3-second rule. You'll see I had good luck once I started working with the 3-second rule and know that my times were roughly 3 seconds, but sometimes more, sometimes less. I started by using autopilot to judge highway following, timing, and distance. And in this example, I'm following a truck with Tesla's follow set to 1 second. In case you're not aware, the follow distance setting in a Tesla is time-based, so a value of 1 means 1 second, and 5 means 5 seconds. I checked the timing in this video where the road transitions from asphalt to cement over the bridge. You can see the timing difference between when the truck trailer is on the cement to when I hit the cement as 3 hours, 44 minutes, 43 seconds to 3 hours, 44 minutes, 44 seconds, which is a difference of 1 second. In this next clip, I attempt to duplicate how autopilot does on a state route with speed limit above 55 miles an hour. Autopilot is on the top, my driving is on the bottom. These 2 drives were done on the same section of road and in succession. So autopilot stopping grade was the starting point for the manual test. Traveling at similar speeds with similar distances, we can see my attempt was very close to autopilot. Checking the Tesla grading system, we see that autopilot wasn't graded for this section, and my driving was too close 58% of the time, just below the maximum value of 60%. Understanding how the Tesla safety system grades following, we can imagine some common situations that could trigger an unsafe following event. For example, merging onto a busy freeway, or another driver coming into our lane immediately after passing us. Because our focus here is reversing a bad score, let's look at that before we discuss preventative measures. Because I didn't totally understand what constitutes the good follow distance, I spent hours that afternoon testing ways to fix my 58% unsafe following, which was created when finding out what the 1 second follow distance was. I drove a while that afternoon under various conditions, stopping to check for changes in my score every 10 miles or so. This started with driving very far behind the lead car because that seemed incredibly safe, right? It made sense, but this didn't help my grade. I also wanted to verify if using TACC or traffic aware cruise control is exempt from grading like autopilot, because the TACC feature has been found at different tiers of the driver assist program over the years, and it wasn't clear. But I was able to confirm TACC is exempt from grading. So to reduce your grade, you need to be driving without any driver assist active and roughly follow 3 seconds behind the lead car. But how can one find this magic sweet spot? There are a couple easy ways, and I'll start with the well-documented but more difficult method, which is what I showed earlier when following the truck crossing the bridge. I'll say it's more difficult because it does require attention and focus to execute and really is dependent on one's ability to measure 3 seconds. This is done by identifying a fixed spot ahead on the road, either a sign, a tree, a mark on the road, or a structure, or something similar. Watch the lead vehicle pass and start counting seconds. 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. If you've got proper spacing, you should complete 3 1,000 just as you cross the same point. Adjust as needed, and when 3 seconds is found, just maintain that gap. I found the transition between direct sunlight and shadow is a great timing indicator because it's easy to notice the change on the lead vehicle, then you just count until you experience the same change. That said, I think there's a better way using a feature in your Tesla. I'm talking about the follow setting used with TACC and autopilot. But for this, we need to use TACC and not use autopilot because it can do things which are counterproductive for our goal. This is best done on a highway, and you first need to set the follow distance to 5. Then find a vehicle traveling at a constant speed above 50 miles per hour. If you have a friend with cruise control, you could use them as your lead. After I find the lead, I move behind that vehicle and enable TACC at a set speed greater than the speed at which the lead vehicle is traveling. I give the system a minute or two to settle on a distance, and when found, I disable TACC and maintain the same distance for as long as I can. After a mile or two, I may pull over, park, open my door, lift my butt. To trigger the car to upload the data, then I check the app to see if my score's improved. If your score hasn't improved, I would suggest trying again with a slightly different follow distance set using TACC and see how that works after a couple miles. I found the equivalent distance to a follow setting of 5 does decrease my unsafe grade, but the time delay for a setting of 5 seemed closer to 4 seconds. I did find the distances seen with a follow setting between 4 and 6 when done manually were able to decrease the unsafe following grades. Now that we're informed on how to reduce the bad grades, let's take a look at some tricks to keep from getting a bad grade in the first place. Obviously, you can't be held accountable for other drivers' actions according to the law, but Tesla has different rules. I got penalized on the test run because someone decided to pass me and then come back into the correct lane within an unsafe window according to Tesla. So the next time I find a car may come into my lane within the dangerous window, I may engage autopilot until it won't affect my score. This happens frequently, so it may just be best to leave autopilot engaged unless you're trying to roll back a bad grade. The more common and difficult situation comes from merging onto freeways. Some people online suggest using autopilot for highway merging to avoid getting penalized for unsafe following in these situations, but I'm not a fan of this method because I don't trust autopilot to safely merge under all highway conditions, and highway speeds are not a good test environment. For example, take a look at this white Model 3 that appears to be using autopilot in the disappearing merge lane. Watch as the car seems to drift left into my lane without signaling or confirming space. The driver then appears to hit the brakes to disengage autopilot and avoid contacting both the car in front of it and to its left. I've seen autopilot do something similar 100 or more times on other on-ramps on the same stretch of highway seen here. Notice how my car just drifts left, even almost moving into the lane of highway traffic? I usually disengage from merging, but since I'm driving manual, this means that moving over too close to the car in front will be considered a bad move. But there's a great trick to get around this. Do you remember from the introduction video where we covered the rules for how grading works? It was mentioned that grading doesn't happen when autopilot is active and for the 3 seconds following autopilot disengagement. So I can set the car to run in autopilot while on the on-ramp, and when I have a chance to merge over, I can turn on my blinker, disengage autopilot, move over, and re-engage autopilot within 3 seconds. So I have the 3-second free pass on grading. I can't think of many other reasons why this 3-second buffer was excluded from grading other than for situations like this. And it worked perfectly as seen here. That's all for part 3 of hacking the Tesla safety score. I really think the unsafe following metric is really one that's open to too many opportunities for unfair grading. A Tesla driver can get penalized for situations which are really out of their control and unavoidable, like highway merges and other drivers coming into their lane. I hope the information here can help you undo any damage to your daily grade caused by these events. After reversing the damage to your daily unsafe follow, you should be able to get your daily grade back up to 99 or even 100 with an unsafe follow percentage in the 10 to 20% range. With a good daily score, rack up some miles and increase your overall grade. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you subscribe, make sure you click the bell to get notifications when the final video, Aggressive Turning, is released. Aggressive turning was a real fun condition to reverse engineer, and you may laugh at everything I tried to reverse those bad grades. I hope the next video will be published with a shorter delay than this one. There were some unfortunate life events which interfered with my editing time, including a collision with a buck on a Friday night run for food. Luckily, the driver who made initial contact with the deer stayed in their lane, and I only ran into the unfortunate deer. All humans escaped unharmed. I'll see you next time.